What's up? What's going on, everyone? How's everyone doing? Get my Twitch bot running, although it doesn't get much use these days. I think the majority of the people are usually on YouTube, but I can have it running nonetheless. I'm doing that on a monitor that you can't see. I'm not sharing screen is part of the reason. But I'm going to work on the learn, build, teach Discord bot and site. I also mentioned to someone in Discord about putting both of those projects in a mono repo, which would be nice because then they could share the types for the data that we're working with. I think that would actually be a huge plus. What's up, Richard and Absolute? Welcome, welcome. Thanks for being here. So I may look at that, but I've got something else that I've got to figure out first, which is a Supabase and SvelteKit issue. Hi, and good night. Hi, what's up, Christian? Yeah, it's late for you. Probably 10, maybe 11 o'clock, like 10:20 or 11:30. One of those probably pretty late. But unfortunately, what happens is occasionally on the pages of the deployed site, although it's not happening right now. It's 10 p.m. Gotcha. Yeah, it's so finicky. I don't know why this is not happening all the time. We get an internal error stream, and there's not a great explanation as to why. But I think it has to do something with the SvelteKit adapter hosted on Netlify using because it's I think it's trying to load Supabase in a serverless function, and it just doesn't have access to something that it needs. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest, what that is. What's up, Gooseman? Yeah, the super stream. Exactly. So I don't know if anyone's come across this. It would be great to hear from you. But if I go into functions and render, I think this will show me the error. Unhandled promise rejection cannot read property of undefined. Reading from. Read properties of undefined from. So I guess so load shares. Actually, that's a little bit of a clue. So share store has so where we actually store the shares in here has a load shares function. And so this queries the shares from Supabase and then returns them, and it uses that inside of the content page. But unfortunately, it's not just that page that has issues, because there's this dynamic require of stream is not supported. And my best guess is that that's because it's trying to load the Supabase client on the server. And I don't know, not load npm package on server SvelteKit. I don't know, I don't know how to keep the Supabase import from happening on the server, because what SvelteKit does typically is um it'll try to do a render on the server, and then also if it can first, and then do it on the client. And I think that's where we're having issues. How is the DB in the code? What do you mean, Gooseman? What tell me what exactly you want to see and we can pull it up. But what's really interesting is that this is it's not consistent either. It's actually consistently happening on that page right now. It happens on this, happens here. Or it doesn't happen here, but I swear sometimes it does on the homepage, although it's not right now. It would make more sense if it was just the two content pages. But that didn't, it just reloaded once and didn't happen. So initializing the database, that's in the Supabase helpers. I'm not actually using that. So we just call the, I wonder, Surely that wouldn't be a problem, but I'm not actually using that right now. I'm not actually sure the Supabase when they generate types for you. I'm not actually sure how they're using it, like how it's meant to be used. So it's just calling create client with the project URL and the public Supabase and on key. So the two properties that Supabase needs, it just uses those and calls the create client. Now the first place that this is referenced is inside of the overall layout. Inside, which is going to be loaded for every page, inside of the header and the nav, it references Supabase auth stuff. So this is expecting that we are going to actually get a Supabase client by the time we call this logout function, or when we import this thing, that should actually be a Supabase client. Now the other thing that happens is we get when we go, where does it actually reference this? So where does it reference share? So in the routes, this is for content, I believe. So in this, we are getting the shares from the share store. So I believe this means that actually there's two pages that are referencing content from or referencing the share store. Do share stores run automatically? I actually don't know that. So if I go into the layout, or no, let's go into the share store and log out doing share store things. I don't go to one of the pages that loads data from there. Does that actually run? If I just refresh this page, it probably, oh, it does. Although that's interesting. So notice that it's not consistently, it did log that out once, which is weird. Devrada, what's up? Thanks for joining us. Working with Supabase and SvelteKit and trying to debug an error. Gooseman says, I guess depending on how Svelte works, is that it's running the script at the same time you want to render the page. It might be. It might be. I'm not sure. Niraj. Cool. I can do that. So that's interesting that it's not logging that thing each time. If I go to code of conduct, it doesn't. If I go to content, it does. And I'm not sure what all of those are about. Next cloudinary social background. I wonder if that's a Oh, I wonder if that's because I'm loading a bunch of images that maybe some of them are stored in cloudinary. I don't actually know. But if I refresh this page, that obviously is going to it's Indian, so it's basically impossible. I'm sure we could figure it out if I heard somebody pronounce it, but I can do Niraj. So it logs this when we go to the share store. If I just come to this page, it doesn't. If I just come to home, it doesn't log that. Is there a concept of global app level variables that your component has access to? If you can move the import of Supabase there, I wonder if that solves it. Of a global app level variable. Typically, that's what stores are for. Which I guess we could potentially move that into a store, although I've never done that. And that doesn't mean that that's not the right way to go. I've just never thought about doing that. And I didn't think I needed to do that, which is annoying that I can't like replicate the issue locally too. Oh, also, oh, wait, did I just do a prefetch thing? Oh, that's cool. So link prefetching in SvelteKit, if I notice it doesn't log out the thing about the shared store, if I hover over content, it prefetches that page and then goes and loads it. So that's why I was actually seeing some inconsistency. So if I look in the nav bar and look into the SvelteKit preload data, that's actually really cool. But I guess that just happens on hover that it does that. YouTube channel inspired you to start your journey to become a full stack developer. That's amazing. Congratulations. What sort of like where are you in your journey? Are you still learning? Do you have your first job? Gooseman, I haven't actually done that. That's a good point. So we can try to build this as production and run it. So just do an npm run build. Still learning. Garage, that's great. Awesome. I think communities are one of the best things that you could do. Learn, build, teach is a great example if you're not already in there. Um, Now, actually, I wonder if I'll start it like 3 months ago. Okay, cool. So really recent. I wonder. I don't know if I'll be able to run this locally because it has an adapter. I'm not sure. Do Veet preview? What's up, Mark? NPX preview. Preview. That didn't work. That's not what I wanted. npm run preview. So okay, well that happened. Named export Postgres client. Well, that's fun. Netlify CLI has some really nice tools. Yeah, how would I don't know how to run. So if I run a build of this project and then try to run it, serverless. Oh, there's a lot of stuff in here. Did this actually just get? I wonder. I'm going to delete that to start. And then do the npm run build again. Does that generate the dot netlify? It did. So I don't know what commands. I don't know what I would do to run that. Flavio, you planning to make a full SvelteKit and Supabase course? I actually was working on one with a colleague of mine, Amy Dutton. I've since actually backed out and let her run with that course. But this one is has a lot of really good content in it, and I'm debating about doing something after that. So, Niraj, my GitHub, my ID for personal stuff is James Q Quick. So same as my like username in all the places. I don't know why I'm yawning. I'm like tired. Scott, what's up? Scott, you're a SvelteKit person. Have you ever seen this error? I think this is like I think it's trying to load the Supabase client on the server. So try like if you navigate directly to a page, it tries to load Supabase client on the server in a serverless function on Netlify, and that doesn't work. And I don't for the life of me know why. And I can't really replicate it, which is trouble too. And I don't even really know how to like search for things. And then trying to run it locally gave me different things that were tough. So I just don't know. I wonder if it's not on a server route, but by default, when we hit this page, I haven't tried it on Vercel. It would be a whole different config thing too. So is it in Vite config? Probably not. It'd be SvelteKit. Also, I'm going to get rid of that because that didn't seem to fix it. I don't know what that really does, to be honest. Yeah, so I don't know if it works on Vercel, but it uses the SvelteKit plugin. Maybe it's in Svelte config. Adapter. It uses the netlify adapter. Svelte.js netlify adapter. No, so it's not in a server file, but with SvelteKit specifically, like it tries to do that first render on the server. If I'm correct, I think that's true. So like the problem doesn't happen. So if I go here, I can go to different tabs and I can get back to all of these perfectly fine. And that's I think because it is then loading the client on or loading the Supabase client on the actual client. But if I refresh on this page, I'll get an internal server error because it's trying to load the Supabase client on um I believe on the server as the first render. So trying to render first on the server and then throwing an error because Supabase stuff, something about Supabase isn't available in serverless functions in netlify. And so then I get a dynamic require of string. I don't know. Svelte kit serverless functions Supabase netlify edge functions. Don't you kind of want that to render on the server though? Well, nothing on it, nothing in the application so far is built to actually do any rendering on the server. So nothing is built for that now. All of the auth stuff, all of the querying is happening on the client. Um, that could potentially change. Like we could architect it differently, but I haven't actually tested out the newest. I'm like yawning. The newest SDK from Supabase for auth in a while. And it's supposed to, there is a helper that will allow you to do auth on server side and client side, which is nice, but I don't have that in place. So all this stuff right now is just doing it in the client, which I feel like there should be a way to tell don't load store on server SvelteKit. I guess that makes sense. You don't have to tell SvelteKit to only run those functions client side. Yeah. The other thing I could do. Okay, so is there a way to check the serverless functions on netlify? Yeah, Scott. So that's what this error is like that's where I'm looking at the function in netlify here, and I get that dynamic require stream is not supported. So here's one thing I could do. I could come back to, we can test this out with the content page. And instead of loading shares from the store, we can do an on mount, and then we can get share store. I just like having that stuff centralized, but for now, we can basically load the data here. Await Supabase. And we'll start off with an empty array of shares. Or actually, we'll just set that to undefined. That'll be a let. Yeah, Mark, so actually, Mark, on mount only runs in the browser. So when you run it, when we do what we're doing right now, which is putting this inside of on mount, that only runs on the browser because that's when the actual component is mounted. So I don't think you actually need to add an additional check inside of there, I believe. And I actually think what I'm doing will fix it. It's just not what I want to be here. So are you passing a custom fetch to your Supabase client? It might help. The error looks like it might be coming from node fetch. Alistair, I'm not using a custom fetch. I don't even know which. Does node fetch run in the browser? That sounds like a silly question. But like if I use a custom, I would need a polymorphic fetch. which SvelteKit has a built-in polymorphic fetch. I don't know how to tell it to use that. Maybe I'll come back to that. That's worth looking at. That could be interesting. I think what I'm doing now though will work. So let's test it. We'll actually just ship this and see if it works. Um, I'm gonna say shares equals data, and then we'll just do this as a regular variable shares. What's wrong with that? Variable shares implicitly has type any. We can do this as a share array. Share should come from. Did I not copy over? Yeah, those types. No, not that. How in the world? I don't have Supabase types. Share. I have that. Why is that not importing correctly? Okay. I don't know why. Okay. I'm just gonna stick with any because I want to see if this works first. I'm gonna get rid of the store stuff. I'm just going to get shares here. And that's not TS Lang in the script tag. Oh, yeah. Oh, gotcha. So is that why still not pulling in the I don't know why I'm not getting an auto import for that. Which might be available in netlify functions by default, so you could pass in global to the third argument of your Supabase constructor. But if it's global, Alistair, if it's global, wouldn't it be picking up the global fetch anyway? Like if you're referencing fetch without importing fetch from anywhere, wouldn't that be the same one that it's going to automatically get anyway? I would think. I'm not 100% sure that that's true, but I would think it would be because Supabase has to have some sort of default that it gets anyway. Should, but it not might not for some strange reason. Okay. Fair enough. Let me try this. Let me see if this just loads the content. Which it did not. Great. Oh, that's because I created a new variable instead of updating the previous one. Cool. So that loads the data, which is good. I'm gonna ship this. It's the benefit of working on small projects. Um, track files. I probably don't want the netlify directory. Almost certainly shouldn't be checked in, right? I don't think it would be. Rats. Ooh, not netlify. Stop giving me IntelliSense. Did that not remove all that? Is that not getting rid of that? New terminology be daunting. Do you have any advice for freshers like you? Um, just staying active, like building stuff, joining streams, asking questions, being in communities, like basic stuff, to be honest. What's up, Andrew? If it has subfolders, then you have to do. Did it tell me that it? Okay, I guess that worked. One thing that's also weird is that GitHub remove actually deletes the files itself. Like I want to remove them from GitHub and not necessarily because I've done that with env before. Although you need to reset variables anyway, but I don't want it to delete the .env file. Anyway, does that look deleted? Okay, I think this will work. Let's see, loading shares on client for content page. Oh, Andrew, that's interesting. Oh, so I saw your comment about the cache flag. So that does exactly that would do what I would expect it to, where it removes it from tracking, but not actually deleting the file, which definitely seems like the way to go in my book. All right, let's go back and just see a deploy, building, uploading. Is it actually gonna be done that quick? It's happening pretty fast. Okay, so there's that. So on here, cool. So that does work. So it's something about loading the Supabase SDK, and then this is still gonna break. So if I go, because I didn't change the admin page, if I do this, will that work? I guess that's because so one of the things we could do is instead of copying over all of this data, we could still reference shares coming out of the store. Then we could say load shares and just not have that be called automatically with pending one release, pretty confident in API and any foreseeable or known changes I want to jump in, but hate wasting time. Already enough of that in the field. I don't have a great answer to that, to be honest. I think the idea is that they are pretty confident in the API at this point, and that's why they went through the big changes that they went through a few months ago, to make sure that they were at a point where they could get ready for 1.0 release. So my guess, my personal feeling is that if it's there now, it's probably there to stay for a while. But I can't guarantee that. I'm not on the team or anything. So I would definitely recommend like reaching out to someone on the team. So I think what was happening, I still can't quite explain it, but calling by automatically calling this load shares anytime a shared store function was called, I was hoping routing was the biggest change before release. It's definitely a big change. Definitely a big change. Um, so one of the problems, I mean, it's RC, and I haven't seen major breaking changes since RC state has happened. Yeah, yeah. I think it's in a good spot. So what this will do is this will make sure that I only load the shares when it's actually on the client, which is what we want. The one problem with that in the share store is I would like to do some sort of caching. So can I set that to can I just leave it as undefined and say if I guess that was admin shares, but if oh, this is an annoying thing too. How do you check the value of how do you check that value that's currently in a I feel like there's a get thing, get value. I always forget how to do this. To get the value of oh, is that it up there? Of shares. Const. Because I wanna do some sort of cache to basically say, like, only load the shares once. So if I go back and forth between the page, like, don't reload this stuff. And I think that needs to happen in the store. But for that, I would need to check basically something like this. So if there's already data in there, return. Mark, are you saying pretty sure that's it with the get? So I'm thinking this gets the value of the actual data the value of the data that's actually inside of the writable. We check the length. If it's greater than 0, we're like, we already got data. Let's not do this again. So let's just kick out of here. Um, so we can test this by saying, oh, cool. Thank you. Thanks, Mark, for double checking that. So we can say logging or loading data. Are we currently running? We are. So what should happen is on this local, we see one log here when we go there. Then we go to code of conduct and we go back and we don't see another log. And we also shouldn't see another network request. So refresh this. We should see a network request here. How far back do those go? That one. And then if I go from page to page, I shouldn't see another one. So that works. That does. You can use get or subscribe to the store. Andrew, what do you mean by subscribing to the store? So like shares dot subscribe right inside of here? Is this just give you the data? Is it like that? I feel like that's the one thing that seems slightly unintuitive. And this is a tricky thing, but it seems like it could be more intuitive of how to get the value. And searching for it, I feel like I never got great answers either. But then you'd have to put like this whole thing in a callback basically, right? Like just fine. But I guess this works for now. So that ought to be good. I think the caching works for that. The Oh, I did something. Okay. I did something easier earlier. So I did this for the exact same reason with this one. So shares loaded equals false. And I can actually get rid of Boolean type here because that's going to be implied. And then instead of checking the value of the thing, I can just say if shares loaded return. And then before we actually do this, say shares loaded equals true. That I can do. But you only had to do that outside of a store. Since you're in the store, can't you just access it? So you can't just access the value that's in a writable without using the get function, as far as I know. Or you can also run the update function, which has basically what we just saw with subscribe, where you get a callback function that has the existing data that's in there that you can use to update it. But this is exactly why I created this Boolean for that exact same purpose. I forgot I had done that. And we can Oh, and I was actually referencing this, but I think we don't actually need to return data here. So like inside of the admin page, inside of the admin page, getting this inside of admin layout, load admin shares. Yeah, so we don't actually need to return anything. And we don't need to get here. So this can just return just like the other one. It's been a while since I worked with SvelteKit. Yeah. What's up, Cyan? By the way, welcome, welcome. B1, where there is SvelteKit, the Cyan God will be there. Yeah, that was like the happiest I've been in a long time on a stream was reading the comments from Cyan about like preaching the good word of SvelteKit to people. Andrew saying in this file he is not in the store. You'd have to create a custom store to have access to the value in that way. So Andrew, when he was making that comment, I was actually in the store. So the timing may get a little confused, but I think when he was commenting, we were actually inside of that share store. So I think that was appropriate at the time. So we actually we don't need to return this either here. We don't need to return it either place. Although there was a use case that I had for that rats, which was which I maybe should move, but I think it would be fine. I don't know. So I'm wondering about the RSS feed. So the RSS feed is going to need to call a function and not use a store to return the data appropriately. Huh. That's fine. I'll go ahead and use the get here. Admin shares. Turn that. Joshua Barrios, what's up? And then I'll do a similar thing here with get of share. So if somebody's calling to actually get these, and I feel like that's a mix of functions. Like one should be like load implies not really returning. Get would imply more returning, but Mark got some family stuff. Cool. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate all your help and stuff. It feels like maybe you just add an API endpoint for the feed. Um, yeah, I think you're probably right. Let's actually just kind of decide on that. Let's go ahead and just use this as a return, like so. And then let's not return the data in here. I think you're right. I think we can separate it out that way. And let's just make sure locally this still works. So let's check our console. I think we got rid of that. So let's check our network. Go between pages. We don't see another one. Admin should create another one. Did that work? Maybe not. Each only iterates over. Okay, so something's broken in the admin page. Admin shares comes from there. Admin layout. We actually should call this here. So we should call this inside of on mount to make sure that only happens there. So load admin shares, category properties of undefined. It's probably just me assuming inside of admin. Oh, so we just need to surround this with a if admin shares dot length greater than 0. Joshua Barrios with this is a new thing on YouTube. Like I don't know much about how YouTube does these sort of interactions, but with the I don't even know what you call this. What do you call thank you for the support, by the way. And the consistent streams. I've been having a ton of fun working on this Supabase conversion. It's been fun for me. I don't even know what do you call like I can't even remember what they call them in Twitch, but what do you call that sort of support thing that you can do, that interaction? So hopefully I'm just missing the like check to make sure that I actually have admin shares before trying to render it. Okay, so there's this one, this one. These pages should load faster now because it's not actually loading the data. And then these pages work. Cool. Super chats. Okay. Super chat and super stickers. So are super stickers a paid thing? I feel like some of the stuff is like cheesy. Super stickers. Is super stickers a paid thing too? Or is yeah, where does that come from? And what do you just give somebody a special sticker? That's always fun to like. This reminds me of when I started streaming on Twitch and I had no idea what any of it meant. And people were like, you got so and so. And I was like, I don't know what that means. But thank you, Joshua. Appreciate it. It sucks that I won't be able to see you in a couple weeks in Austin for that conference there. But hopefully we'll see each other soon after. Yeah. Let's see. Let's add all this. Loading share content on the client. Both of these. Now, hopefully this fixes those bugs. And there's still some performance things that we could do. I would like to. It's only right that it's all super tonight. Oh yeah, fair enough. Supabase, yes. Andrew, by the way, is part of the Supabase team. So shout out to Andrew. Thanks for being here and hanging out. You can pay to use an exclusive animated or static sticker, and the funds go to the creator as well. Nice. That's cool. Yeah. I've wanted to get somebody like pay somebody to do some icons for me for Twitch, like just some ridiculous things with me. I don't whatever they would be. I don't really know. But I thought that would be fun. These builds actually happen pretty. They just no. I need to refresh. I think. I don't think that I had the latest build on there. Is it done? Holy shit! Excuse my language, but that was super fast. So on the admin page, load my data. Cool. On the content page, load my data, admin, refresh works, refresh works, refresh works. Cool. So that works. This is great. One of the other things I would like to do, and I don't know a great way to do this unless I actually save this image myself, which I totally could. Because I have Supabase do this, although I don't want to, because I don't feel like I need to. But I bet some of these images are pretty big. Copy image address. Like, that's a much bigger image than I'm ever going to display on here. I don't actually know. So when I don't have, so these images are pulled directly from the content that people share. So when people share a piece of content, I just go out and grab OG image, the URL for the OG image. So I am not doing any optimization around this at all. And I'm not actually sure what I could do. Is there any sort of, because this is a terrible, like, how many, let's see, network images, load all these. Is this gonna be like super embarrassing? How much is this? So all of these are in kilobytes, which I guess is good, right? Like, reasonably good. Could be worse, could be worse. But so here's one that's this one, and that's a Cloudinary one, which is funny because this could be super optimized if I was able to tap into that Cloudinary URL. That is from, when is that from? But that one is 2 megabytes. Das ist nicht gut. It's my German for anybody who's curious. My wife and I do like, so das ist is that is, and then nicht is not. So you could say das ist cool, das ist fun. This is what we do, which is lame. Or you could say das ist nicht, not something. So we say it all the time. Um, Maybe Cloudinary has such a service already. Actually, the only problem, and I may just need to move past this and actually do that. So, like, I could do image optimization around this stuff myself, and if this was a bigger application, I almost certainly would. You probably build an image proxying service to run them through and dynamically resize them. Yeah. Would I need to upload that image to my own Cloudinary to do that? See, I have to think about, like, how deep into this do I want to go? Because there's really nothing I, without going deeper into this, I don't think there's really any optimization I can do. Like, unless I actually go in and save the images myself. Although the proxy thing is interesting because I feel like there was something like that, but surely you can't just throw Cloudinary in front of. Can you? Hmm, that would have to go against your usage somehow, right? Like, they're not just giving unlimited stuff away. I don't think. Oh, I want to see that big image and show it to you. I think it might have been this one. Yeah, so it's a pretty big image. Not their fault. I'm sure it's optimized on their site, but on mine, it's just not. A lot of these are not as big as they could be, which is good. I also am loading 50 shares right now, which that's one of the things that we could get into too, is a default for these. So is this loading one? That should probably be like 20. So that'll change things a little bit. And then it would be nice to actually have pagination. I probably will come back to that. 'Cause pagination seems like a big thing. Okay, so these are loading. So these are, all of these are just, so when people share in Discord, they share this article, for example. This is from Kelvin. So what my bot does, it just goes into the head and it looks for the OG image tag somewhere. Somewhere. URL, title, image. And I'm just saving this URL into my database, and then I'm using that URL as what loads on original gangsta image. as what loads on here. So again, no optimization, and I don't really want to save all these myself, although maybe I need to. Hmm. So let me ask you this. What do you think would be a higher priority slash what would be just more fun? And I have an answer to this to do right now. So we could potentially look at like image stuff. We could also alternatively look at building the Kudos leaderboard page. So I haven't encouraged this enough and I need to encourage it more. We have the ability to give kudos to people of the categories learn, build, and teach. And then we actually have that tracked. And then I want to create a page for kudos leaderboard, which unless people like really opinionated the other way, I would like to do that. So I'll see if there's any comments, but I also will start to do comments or start to do kudos. I'm gonna pretend. What did I change in here? Commit to master. Yay! So added limit of 20 shares to load. Kudos leaderboard. Thanks, Andrew. I agree with Andrew Smith was saying about Cloudinary. Yeah, I'll have to. I guess they could do that. I wonder if it ends up. Would that up like if I used it as a proxy? Because I think you can, like, in a Cloudinary URL, add a external URL to an image. I don't know if Cloudinary will actually save that image or not, or if it would have to, because it's not gonna go out and every time you hit Cloudinary, it's not gonna go out and get that image again. So then it would go against like, I've actually got a pretty I've got an extended free tier, so I've got more credits than the average person, which is nice. So I could just save all these to Cloudinary and be done with it. Anyway, we'll see. But I'm gonna start with Kudos. I'm gonna create a route for Kudos. I'm gonna create a page dot salt. That'd be a good discovery in this stream or a separate stream. Yeah, they would cache it on their CDN. Yeah. I'll have to think about that a little bit and maybe we'll play around with that. We'll see. Okay, so on this Kudos page, so another thing that I want to do is create in stores a Kudos store. Go store.ts and then look at the share store and do something very similar and just copy this in. And I'm going to replace share with Kudo, share Kudo. We don't have admin Kudo, so we don't need that. Kudos loaded, select Kudos. So from the Kudos, I think I actually have this in the other project that I can open up. So this is why I want to create a mono repo, by the way. So these things can live in one spot. But DB Kudos. Do I have a query for this? No, I just have a select all from Kudos. Nope, I have this one. Cool. So that's actually what I want. Let's get the Kudos, and I am getting more familiar with this. So Andrew, this is really cool. Like the way you can query foreign tables in here and then alias those things the way you want is actually really nice. Um, so I haven't done this before. I want to get kudos from the last month. I want to do this as a monthly dashboard. Do you have an existing tutorial on creating an efficient monorepo? I do not, and I know nothing about monorepos, which is why Mark kind of volunteered to help me out. Oh, also, I think I meant to do this in a separate branch, but whatever, it'll be fine. So let's do load kudos by month, and we'll call this kudos by month. I don't know if I need anything else, but by month, kudos by month loaded, and then kudos by month, And kudos by month loaded. We don't need that part. So I want to do, we could start with just doing on our kudos page. So kudos page, script, lang, script, on mount. On mount, we'll call load kudos by month. We will get a reference to the kudos by month. And then we'll say kit if kudos by month greater than 0. Then we'll do a kudos, or excuse me, kit each kudos by month kudo. And then we'll just log out the, let's just do a stringified version of kudo for now. Just see if we're actually able to log them. So you check out Turbo Repo. Their guides are really good. I found it to be the easier one to get started with. Yeah, Turbo Repo and NX are the two that I hear the most about. We actually had someone on, Yuri from NX, on the podcast last week, the week before, I think, which was a ton of fun. So I got to learn a little bit from him. Just found your channel, loving the vids. Oh, Eddie, thank you, appreciate that. Welcome, welcome to the chat. We're working on Supabase and SvelteKit stuff for the Learn, Build, Teach community. If you're interested in joining, I'll put a link in the chat for anybody who hasn't yet. You can get to the website that we're working on right there, learnbuildteach.com. So yeah, welcome. Glad to have you here. Eddie, do you want to tell me a little bit about yourself? Just like your experience level maybe, or what you're interested in, that sort of stuff. Feel free to share. And not that page, this page. So let's go to now. Goes. We actually load data, which is good. Cool. Did I have a limit in that? I think I did. Yeah, so this has a limit, which I'm going to get rid of, I believe. And now, Andrew, you may have to help me with this. I'm smart, so I could probably figure it out eventually. Okay. I want to do a date range. So let's go to database. Filters. Greater than. Can I get rid of this column? I feel like I haven't had that before. Example response. Does it have an example that uses a date in it? Date. Oh, that's not what I want. Is this different than it used to be? Because I don't remember having this extra sidebar, which actually takes up space. Client library. Database. Fetch data. This feels big. Using filters. Eddie, 19 years getting paid to code, mostly on the front end. Been coding React since 2014. Next.js made you a full stack engineer. Love that. That's very cool. Current role allows me to teach coworkers advanced level JavaScript. So watching your videos helps me learn how to teach them. That's awesome. Super, super cool. Glad you joined the stream and found the channel. Andrew, the new docs went out. This feels, maybe I'm being picky. This feels like really big. I don't know why. Maybe it's not even bigger than it used to be, but it feels big now. Anyway, for a filter, is it just as simple as greater than and then throwing in a new I don't know exactly what this looks like. How to do greater than date Supabase query? Finding all rows and range of 2 dates. Something like that. Yeah. Or range Oh, is there a range too? An array greater than a range? Greater than or equal to a range? How do you have greater than a range for range columns? Range during? Is range a specific prop, like a type of prop, like a data type? Yeah, new date. So Andrew, which one of these filters would you use for that? Because it sounds like it's greater than any element in the range column to filter on. So range greater than. Also, is this a typo or is this meant to be a bracket and then are those like inclusive, not inclusive signals? There's a range type in the database. Okay. So that's not what I'm looking at here. That's not what I need here, right? So equal to column matches a pattern. So do I just need greater than and then pass it in ISO string? Could you make a range out of the exact well, this is going to be a sliding, so it's not a thing that's associated with the data specifically. It is people share or people give kudos and it creates a created at timestamp. And I just want kudos. I want timestamps that are in the current month. So it would just be like any date that's greater than the time representation of the beginning of the month, which I assume no, you need greater than. I think that's okay. So I think that's what I had kind of come around to. Paul Taylor, hello. Love your videos. Thank you. I appreciate that. Glad you came and are hanging out with us for a little bit. So I think what we're saying is I will need greater than, and then we're going to look at the created at, and then the value that we're going to do here is actually going to be something um, slightly different than this, but the ISO string there. So this would work, and I think this probably won't query. It'll probably return nothing because no kudo is going to be greater than the timestamp now. So I need to create a beginning of month timestamp or beginning of month date. I feel like I have no idea how to do. Can use greater than equal to and less than equal to. Yeah, fair enough. Okay. Um, and I don't even think I need a less than. So I just want to make sure because for the given month, whatever the current month is, so release date, new date. Oh, so I could pass in. Yeah, so I don't even think I need to do just chain them. YouTube chat is so hard. Yeah, totally fair. Actually, if like you totally don't have to, and I'm only gonna go a little bit longer, I think. Actually, what did Jess say? Oh, there's puppy dog sleeping. You could actually join me on stream if you wanted to. It's up to you. You totally don't have to. Um, but I'm more so like I could hard code this to say that this is new date, and then I could pass in the string to 2022 1200. So that's basically what I want. I just need to create this actual string. Beginning of month date. And then I could take that and say beginning of month date, I believe. Or not. That's cool too. New date. Isn't that what you did? New date. I wonder, are these backwards? Hmm? Create date for beginning of month. Current month. First full month. So date, first day, last day. Date. Some browsers treat 2-digit as being in the 20th century. So full year. So first day, this is just getting. Did I get? Oh, this is actually creating the whole date. First day of month. Months. Now. Now. First day of month. Cool. Yeah. Let me send you. I'm gonna hide. Oh, I guess I can get on Twitter on this tab. I'll send you a message in Twitter, and you can jump on there. Andrew. The last time we had a DM. We not had a DM in a long time. Why? Okay, so searching. Remind me what your handle is, because it's not just showing up with basic search, which I feel like is annoying. I feel like Twitter should be smart enough. Or did you just send me a message? There we go. Cool. Yeah, jump on whenever you're ready. And assuming this date is right, I think that should be doing what we're looking for at least. Well, so it's getting all that data, and there's probably only a few, and it's probably all like me giving it to people. So that makes sense. So now it actually need to tally that information up. So this is loading Kudos by month. So that's working. That's good. And then inside of the Kudos route, we need to create leaderboard, which is going to be an array. And then we can say $ when the Kudos by month changes. Is that how that works? You there?
Hey,
What's up?
I've made it.
Is it late? It's late for you, huh?
Yeah, it's like
Like
10:25
11? 10?
p.m.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Not too bad.
Yeah.
So that I don't know if you were on the last like couple of seconds. So that the query actually worked. So
Okay, cool.
that code that I got, so it got the full year, the month, and then hard coded day of one, which makes sense. And then
Right.
created that new date and then converted that to the ISO string and used that inside of the greater than.
I don't think you need to pass in the now. I think by default, new date gives you the. Oh wait, no, you're right. Because you want. Oh, wait, no, that's for the current month, right?
This part?
Oh no, it's fine. I just remember that if you just type new date on its own, it gives you today's date rather than the beginning of the month. So yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it'll give you now. Joshua, what are you saying you saw on the Supabase launch day? By the way, do you want to introduce yourself for everybody?
Look, I'm even wearing my my Svelte
Oh, nice. Perfect.
shirt. I came
Such
in
a
here
good.
as Svelte helper today, not the Supabase guy. Yeah, so yeah, I'm Andrew, aka SilentWorks. I work at Supabase as a developer relation. Um, yeah, I'm the general all-around helper guy on our Discord and on our GitHub and all of our social platforms.
Sweet. Yeah. Okay. Joshua was saying he saw you. He saw you on the Supabase launch day, which I did not pay attention today. What was the launch of the day?
Documentation,
Oh, that
which
makes
you now
sense.
noticed.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Supabase. Let's go. Let's open up the Supabase launch week page. Y'all have always done such a good job with this. So the
Yeah,
Supabase docs, perfect.
yeah,
So am I crazy? Is this actually wider the sidebar than it used to be?
it is wider.
Okay. It was
Yeah.
like I don't know why that felt like a big deal to me, but I guess that'll collapse if you get down on a smaller screen. So
Yeah, it's still a work in progress. We're still
yeah.
working on it. There's a few glitches which we know about, so
Mm-hmm.
we are gonna tackle them.
Cool. I'm excited to see. Actually, I didn't actually get any secret preview, but I talked to Ramiro about maybe getting a preview on a Friday, but I didn't actually follow up. So I think that was my fault. So I will wait secretly like everybody else or silently like everybody else. Do you know the syntax right offhand on how to recalculate a variable based on the changing of something? So like when Kudos by month changes, how to recalculate the leaderboard?
No, it's
Forget like reactive function or something in Svelte or reactive variable Svelte.
it's normally once you put it inside of the $sign, right? So yeah.
But for like to actually, because I need to run like every time this changes, I need to run a function, and I don't remember what that
So
syntax is.
you just put if leaderboard in brackets and then the function call after, right?
Say that again.
If leaderboard and then the function call after inside of the $sign stuff.
So this syntax is right now.
Well, I think you normally write your function somewhere else and then call it down here.
I'm
Does that make
confused.
sense? You define your function above, and then where
Like
the $sign is, that's where you'd call the function.
calculate leaderboard,
Yeah.
and then
down here you just do a if leaderboard. No, with the dollar, you need to have the $sign colon.
with the if
Colon or semicolon. No, before the if. Yeah, there.
that.
Yeah, then space.
Uh-huh.
Then your bracket.
The
Brackets with
like
leaderboard
that kind of
inside.
bracket.
No, the what do you call them?
The curly.
Yeah. Yeah,
You can do that?
Would be inside of the if. Yeah.
I don't even know what I'm looking at here. So
Then here you're right.
leaderboard.
Yep. So if leaderboard changes, then recalculate.
But I actually want to do this based on I want to calculate the leaderboard based on changes to the Kudos by month.
Okay, so yeah, that would work as well. If
So
Kudos by month, then
okay, so inside of here, now I was kind of wondering this. So Tim in the chat is saying you don't need the if part, which I was kind of wondering that because I think you can like if you reference that variable.
Yeah, then you don't need it if because now it's a dependency, so it will automatically
Just do it like that.
Yeah.
E?
What does it complain about?
Expected 0 arguments.
Because your function doesn't have an argument.
Oh, okay. And then does that just implicitly type any? That's fine. Although earlier, so I wanted to have, I'll probably just leave it as any for now, but I wanted to do my, oh, there, that actually got it. Kudo array. Okay. So this should now, it should show undefined, then relog when it gets it. Cool. And then I want to calculate the leaderboard. And so I basically, I don't even know the best way to do this. So I need to create like probably an object that has usernames. Well, no, I want to create an array. What's the output of this? So leaderboard will be like per user. I need to sum up how many kudos that person has received. Which means I then need to, or like in the end, it'll be an array of ordered number of users in order of number of kudos. Does that make sense?
No, I'm still trying to picture. I'm trying to picture what the end result will look like. Because then I was just here thinking maybe we could do it depending on if the data is already in the database. We could do it from the database level than in the front end level. There's
Oh, like maybe that amount of actual database stuff would be beyond me. But the end result of this would be like James 5, Joshua 2, etc. And it'll actually be a couple of different numbers potentially. So there's three different types of kudos that you can give. When you give somebody a kudos, it's either a learn kudos, a build kudos, or a teach kudos. So, actually, here's a good example of what this looks like, because we actually have this written in the actual Discord bot. But let me go to bot chatter. So this is actually close to what it would look like.
Right.
So you have a leaderboard, and you order this by the total number of kudos, and then you show the number of kudos by category.
Right.
So right now in Supabase, we're querying from a kudos table, and we're just getting all the kudos for the month. And then I was planning on doing like creating a leaderboard on the front end instead of, because I honestly have no idea how to do all the mixing and matching on the actual database side.
Okay. So is it that this table contains the user, username, and the kudos values in different columns?
Basically, so it has a few other things. There we go. So it has created at, that's what we're querying by to get only the ones for this month. Has the category, which is learn, build, or teach. A description, which we're not really using. Number of points. Each one is basically 1 right now. And then it's got the ID of the receiver and the giver. So the person who gave and received. Multipliers, like if we do a special bonus of like kudos today are worth 2 points, which we're not using now. So that's basically just a wash for both points and multiplier. Points, I think they're 1 apiece. Yeah, they're 1 apiece, and then multipliers 1. So you can kind of forget those for now. And then inside of the query, I was querying to get both the username of the giver and the receiver. So in the data that we'll get back, we'll have a receiver property with its with their username.
Username, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's that? String. It hasn't been 2 hours. Oh, are you ready to do something? Can I have 15 minutes? Because he's giggling too.
Just for that part, I'm subscribing to your YouTube channel.
I think people are getting a kick out of my awkwardness of how to handle this situation. Is everybody gone? Okay. Are we doing anything tonight? All right, I'll
I love this.
15 real minutes. So I'll be done by 4:50. Yes? Love you. Okay. All right, we got 15 minutes.
Let me set my timer.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely keep to this one. Love you too. Yeah. Cool. So in the actual Discord bot,
Down.
I think I just did some like hacky stuff to get the leaderboard. Like I did this gross kind of like code thing because I have no idea how I would do multiple counts and different things and from a database level. But it's keeping track of for each user, it creates a new record with their ID, their username, their total points, their learn points, build points, and teach points.
Okay, cool.
15 minutes, 15 real minutes versus 15 dead minutes. 15 minutes is another hour. Yeah, she was like, last time you said 15 minutes, you were gone for like an hour and a half. I was like, yeah, I can't. So I can't. She already knows the trick, so I can't do that this time. So I could copy over that logic now, unless you definitely know that there's a way to organize that information from the query level easier.
We can, but it's not easy. So let's go what you have, and I think this repo is open source, right? Maybe I'll send a pull request.
Cool. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. So this is also one of the reasons that I need to do a mono repo, because this is code that's in the bot that should be shareable to the front end, and right now it's not. And so like these, I don't even have like the type necessary for this, unfortunately. But I think we can just take this whole thing, which is a lot of code, and maybe put this in the Kudos store. And did I copy a function name of this? Okay, so let's create const get Kudos leaderboard equals, and then I don't have the type for leader in here, so it's in this one under leader. Just gotta throw that thing in here. Do that. Kudo category is another thing I don't know if I have copied over. Kudo category. Oh, I do. There we go. Cool. Kudos with usernames. So I'll just call this that. Kudos with usernames. And actually have that type, I believe. Kudo with usernames array. Cool.
Nice.
Question mark. and then we want to say when Kudos by month changes, we can actually just call that function directly, which is get. Actually, no, because we need to assign it to something. So we can call get Kudos. Do we export that function? No. Get Kudos leaderboard, pass in the Kudos, and this should actually be Kudo with usernames to make that work. And then we'll say the leaderboard is that. Question mark? It like in theory makes sense to me. Except for the internal server error. Where would that have happened and why? Oh, we probably, if Kudos stop. Oh, because it's going to be undefined at first.
Right.
Which will be fine if we do this, maybe. Cool. And is this the leaderboard? Yep. Nice. I need to remove the learn build teach bot from here. So then I want to check if leaderboard, it starts off as null. I think this will actually be an array of leaders. So I'll get IntelliSense around this. So if leaderboard, iterate through each leaderboard as leader, and then do leader username, leader.
Oh, you have an extra E in the leader. You have LEAE.
Why isn't it giving me IntelliSense for this thing?
Yeah, that is a bit weird.
I'm not sure why that's not. And we're running up against our 15-minute time. Leader.
Yeah, it's like 9 minutes left.
I know. We're cutting it close. I don't know why that's not.
I think just type it out anyway, and let's see if TypeScript is
That's what I
going
was
to blow
thinking.
up or...
Yeah. Just need to check. So it does have the username there, or should. Cool.
Yay.
There's that. And then leader dot, and then what are they? Learn points. Teach points. Cool. Not much going on here for now. And then I can add icons and stuff in here too. And also content page. Just have this. That works for now. At least we got like data coming through. So how good are you with database? Like, I'm not that good of a database person. Is that something that you're like particularly good at for doing complicated queries? Like what that would be?
I can make my way around. Yeah, I won't say I'm a pro, but yeah, I can make my way around it.
Yeah. That's definitely the good thing for me is like, it's not super bad if I query. There just won't be that many records, especially early on. So it's not like I'm going to be wasting a ton of resources by querying them and then doing the stuff on the client side. But if it was like a real substantial data set, doing stuff in the database is definitely beneficial versus in the client.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the benefit, right? It's flexible, so you can either do it in the database or in your client code. So
yep. I am not going to advertise this page. I won't actually have a tab for it, but added basic Kudos monthly leaderboard. I will add this to the repo in case you or anyone else is interested in going and doing something with it later on. But it won't have I don't have a link to it in the nav bar. So hopefully no one goes to it without reason. So I'm not worried about styling for now, but I think that's a win. This has been super good, by the way. Like, I've been really excited to do the Supabase migration. So the big thing that it enabled for me was the admin dashboard. So like before, someone had started to do, Brian Morrison from the community had started to do just login with Discord OAuth, like just on its own. And I was I've obviously used Supabase a decent amount, and I was like, it's just so much easier to do all of that stuff with Supabase. So I have like I added authentication. I have a gated admin page, and these are all the things that people share. And then I or other admins in theory would be able to determine whether or not these things are actual shareable pieces of content. And because people could share something inappropriate, and I'm not gonna like automatically tweet that out from my Twitter profile. We probably would need to do this later. The one thing I would like to do, and I didn't see an obvious way to do this, is to add a custom role in Supabase so that I could allow people to log in to accounts, but if they don't have the specific role of admin, which is a application role, not a like Supabase admin role, if they don't have that custom role, then they wouldn't be able to access like this admin page. And I'm thinking you would have to just create a separate table to track your custom role and a mapping between Supabase user and that role, and then update the logic and the RLS policies.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
That's the way to go about it.
I'd be curious to see. I'll be curious to get to that point and actually see how difficult that is. It would be nice. This is a feature request. If there was like inside of if there was a way that you could just add a role and then manually assign it to users and just have that be part of like the built-in user object from Supabase.
Yeah, I think because when it comes on to roles and user authorization stuff, it's more down to each application, right? So there's no one size fits all, which is kind of like the problem. But it is something that we've been discussing for a while, and we are working towards getting an example out of how to do it, because people have been asking about how to go about doing that, because people are building like SaaS applications and they want to have like, you know, multiple companies being able to log into different accounts and so forth, and users belonging to different companies. So yeah, it's something that we've had on our plate that we need to get out.
Cool. Yeah, I think that would be just an example of that would be super helpful, because I'm just not like, I think the thing that's most intimidating to me is the RLS policies. Not that they're super complicated. It's just something that I don't syntactically spend a lot of time with. So like when I actually have to come down to do something which relates this user to another table and checks a property of the user in the other table, I don't know what that syntax. I have no idea what that looks like right offhand. So that's the thing that like is the biggest question mark for me.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. But it would just be I'm gonna guess you're at least familiar with select queries in SQL.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. It would just be mainly a select query, just to select from the
where the ID matches, and then get the role and use that as a the thing. The going back to like the bigger ask, which again, there's not a one size fits all. It would be super dope if that sort of thing could tap into the way that RLS policies work, where it propagates the built-in Supabase roles and you get to just select it. That's really nice. So just for people that are watching in our last 1 minute is it authentication policies, and then inside of here you could literally just like choose target built-in Supabase roles and say like, if that role, then return true, which is like super nice and convenient. That makes it really clean. Oh, I'm not sharing it with people anymore. Really quickly for people. So you can select the role in here and then basically say like, if the user has that role, just return true for these things. Really cool. All right, thanks for joining. I appreciate it. Maybe we'll have reason to do more, especially if you like do the bigger query and ever want to like talk through that on the stream. That would be fun.
Yeah, sure.
And then
just ping me. I'll jump on.
And then
especially if it's this sort of time, it's good for me.
Really, this late for you is good for you?
Yeah, I normally go bed about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, cool. Thanks everybody in the stream for hanging out, asking questions, and posing ideas and things, and for you being in the stream and answering questions and stuff along the way too.
Thanks for having me, James.
Check out Supabase launch week the rest of the week. I'll try to pay more attention tomorrow and share anything that I come across for everybody else. So thanks everyone.